Folks, here is the next lab. All right, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to my Brightspace, log in to class. Generally, the first thing I recommend that you do is look at the manual before you download the data, just in case there's a couple different options for that. You know, sometimes we have a package prepped for you and you just click on something. Other times you're going to open a brand new map and add data. So I like to go through this and check it out. Okay, so I'm going to make a new map so I can go ahead and download the data. So I'll go back to here. I'm going to, it looks like there's two sets of data today. So download, I'm going to put it in my folder where I keep everything. Yours, remember, looks a little bit different than mine. Looks like lab 5, save. And then don't forget, you should probably put it in a file called download in lab 5. So what I'll do is when I unzip it, I'll put it all into another folder called downloaded. I also usually download the manual just because it's easier for me to open. Looks like I already have it, so I'm going to do that. And then you can open up your quiz, obviously, and go ahead and run that while you're working. So I'm going to minimize this so that you can see. I'm going to open up the manual and I'm going to open up GIS. So go ahead and open up GIS wherever it is on your computer. Mine is directly on my computer, but you can also use VDI, or if you are using the school computer, go ahead and do your login steps. If you don't remember how to do that, always go back to the very first lab, and that's where we walk you through, how to do that. All right, so I'm going to open up my manual so that I have my instructions. I'm not doing anything goofy here. Labs, lab 5. I'm going to open up the manual. Okay, I like to have things toggle back and forth because it's easy to look at, and I don't want to lose my GIS space. So I'm going to close the windows I don't need. Okay, so we learned about urbanization in class. That's one of our 5 main drivers. So we're going to work on some global city data through time. Cool. So we're going to open up a new project and name it Lab 5. You're going to create a new folder project. I'm going to walk you through that. And then we're going to unzip both the files. I will walk you through that step. And everything should be in your lab. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to open a new map. I'm going to call it Lab 5. Now, I am going to add some codes to this for myself because I teach a couple different classes, but you can just call it Lab 5. You can always put your initials after it. If you're working on a public computer ever or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my GIS folder where I keep my stuff. You will be navigating to a slightly different folder, remember? Okay. Wait for it to open. Cool. And if I go over here to folders and I open it, there's no data. And that's because I haven't unzipped my data yet. Or if you have unzipped it, then you probably didn't put it in the right folder. So I'm going to go to where my data is in my File Explorer. I'm going to navigate to my folder where I keep all the data, go to Lab 5, and there are the zipped files. So before I unzip them, I'm going to go into this Lab 5 folder that's now a GIS folder, and I'm going to add a downloaded folder here. Downloaded. Okay. So then when I go back to the zipped files and I unzip them, extract all, I can navigate to Lab 5 and then the download folder. Okay. So I'm going to do that with both sets of data. And the reason I did that is because now, you need to look at that, it's fine. So many file folders open. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the cities population and I'm going to unzip that one, extract all. I'm going to make sure it's going into my lab 5 download folder, select and extract. So it goes in here, cool, great. So now I close that and wait, it's not there. So I'm going to right click on folders and I'm going to click refresh. Right click, refresh. Come on, right click, refresh. There it is. Okay, so since I put it in my lab 5 folder, I had to, refresh that folder. So there's my downloaded data. A lot of times, because I did this after I opened GIS, I have to close GIS, it's so annoying, and reopen it. The other thing you can do is add folder connection. You just add the folder directly onto there. Either way, it's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes GIS just gets cranky. Okay, so now I go to my folders and I see if it's there. And oh, that's not awesome. Okay, so if it's not there, you can right click, add a folder connection. I'm going to go to my download folder and I'm going to click OK. And there's my data. Okay, so that's how you add it. If it doesn't add properly, that's not the wrong way to do it or the right way to do it. It's just a different way to add your data. Try not to stress out if you do things a little bit different. It's totally okay. All right. So now I'm going to open up my lab manual. Okay, yeah. We see a whole bunch of files. Awesome. These are all, look at this is shape files, right? So I should have cities, population greater than 300, yep, and all kinds of other data, cool. You have to import your shape files into your geodatabase, not a need to, have to, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to GIS. I'm going to go to my database tab. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to import feature classes. So now a new geoprocessing tab opens up here on the right. If it doesn't, it means that you need to go back in here and open up your catalog. So come on, it's very slow this morning. All right, so input features, there's no drop down because I don't have anything on my map. So I just go to the little folder. I go to my downloaded, nope, that's right, it's in this one here. Okay, and I just select all of them. And now I'm going to use all of them. So, okay, automatically puts it in here. You make sure it goes into the correct geodatabase, which is Lab 5. That's the one you're working in. And click Run. Easy peasy. This is the easiest way to just go ahead and put them in there. Remember, you always have to do this. You cannot work in shape files. It doesn't work. All right, always make sure. So now you have shape files down here and you have feature classes up here. So I'm just going to minimize this folder because I don't want to, mess myself up here. Oh, there are also, there's an XLS file. There's a couple XML files. So I might need those later, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay. So we imported our feature classes. Cool. We just walked through these steps. Okay. Click on the shape files, then right click on each shape file and add it to the current map. Oh, so this is the other way to do it. So you could add the shape files to your map and then you can mess around with the coordinate system. Okay, so you want to set the coordinate system of the map pane to be mole wide world. Okay, so let's do that. So right click, properties, coordinate system. What the heck is that? So I'm just going to type it in here, mole wide. How did it get spelled again? Let's see. Mollweid, Irish way. Okay, and then we want to look at this one and click apply. and OK, and see how it stretches it out here. So if you zoom all the way out, you can see that it's now this shape instead of the flat shape. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, what else does the manual want us to do? All right, so we change the projection. We can change the base map if you want. We can play around with that, but first it looks like I skipped a step to add all the feature classes. So let me scroll back up here and see. Okay, so I'm just going to add these over here. So let's right click, add to map, right click, add to map. As you can see, I'm going through here and adding all of these to the map. You can also grab them and drag them like that. Okay, so now we have all kinds of stuff over here. Now, if you do this when it's a shapefile, like if you do it and you add it down here, you can add it to your map, but it's not the same as a feature class. Do not forget that, okay? You have to work in feature classes. Do not work in shapefiles. If you add a shapefile to your map, there is a way to set the data source. Go ahead and ask for help to do that. I believe we did that in the last lab or the lab before that. Okay, so we have all the files on here. We can change our base layer if you feel like it. Like sometimes it's fun when you're doing world stuff. Oops, I just clicked on something. When you're doing world stuff to change it to something like imagery hybrid, and then you get that like cool background going on. Looks like the next step, we're going to turn off everything except for largest cities of 1950. So that means that we turn off everything. So not that one, not that one. Turn off all this stuff. Just means you uncheck the box, right? So now we have largest cities in 1950. That's really hard to see, right? So I might turn off my imagery. Whoa, okay, where is it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and zoom to layer. And then it takes me back here. Okay, it's going to, there's no map behind it because I turned it off. So I can turn that on. I can turn on the world imagery again. There you go. All right. So let's see. Highlight the largest cities and right click it. We're going to symbolize it and do graduated symbols. We're going to do field to population, natural ranks, and 7. Okay, so right click, symbology. It's going to open up some over here. We're going to do graduated symbols. We're going to change the field to population. And we want 7 classes. I'm making sure it usually auto-populates to natural break, Jenks breaks right here. Okay, I think that's all of it. I'm gonna go ahead and save just so I don't, lose that. Graduated symbols, population. Yep. Okay, check, check, check. So here are the screenshots if you are doing this without the thing. So this is red. Mine is like some other color. If you want to change the color, go back to GIS. You double click on the template and go to properties and just change the color here. I can change it to something bright. Usually works when you have a big global thing. See, so I can make it whatever color I want. Okay. We're going to view the attribute table now so that we can see what all this data is. And remember, all the attribute table is a Excel sheet of data behind it. So I'm going to highlight largest cities, right click. It will open up this box. I click on attribute table, and here's the Excel sheet behind all of that data. So now the question is, what city, urban agglomeration, okay, so I see that right there, had the largest population size in 1950? All right, so you can sort ascending, you can summarize, there's a couple different things that you can do. So we're going to go here to urban agglomeration. I'm going to right click and sort descending. So it'll put the largest city here at the top. Cool, right? That has the largest population, see? Or actually that's just the name, right? So then I need to do right click, sort descending. There we go. Okay, so this population is the largest one. There's the largest urban agglomeration. Okay. You can also use the summary statistics field. So I'm going to go to urban agglomeration. I'm going to right click. I can do summarize statistics. When I have largest cities, I can do, it's going to be, let's see, population statistic type is, let's see, do we want sum or mean? Looks like count. Okay, so we're going to change this to count here. So that makes sense, right? How much? Okay, and do we leave the case field on? Is this by country? I click on the column and choose summarize. What city? What's the largest population? Okay, just making sure I'm doing this right for you. Country count. Okay, so we're going to change. Okay, and it'll pop up here to the right, or there'll be a chart all the way down at the bottom called statistics on the left hand side. So you can right click and open it. So looks like that's just not what we needed. So that was wrong. Great. So I guess ignore that. There is no way for me to edit my video this morning, so sorry. The question was which one had the biggest population in urban agglomeration. This is how you can do it here. You could also right click on here and summarize. You could do urban, oh, get up there. Sorry, I have naughty kitties everywhere. And do count here. Okay, and then if you click OK, it'll populate some statistics. Scroll down to the very bottom, right click, open up that new attribute table. It also just counts urban agglomerations. Huh. So that's not awesome. That won't work either. So we have to kind of think about like, what the heck are we doing? So you go back in here and you read the directions, right? So question 1, you should be able to do just what I showed you here. This is the population. You can just do sort descending. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. So we can also group the data. You can right click on the country or area, and we're going to summarize those statistics. So we're going to go back here, right click and summarize. See, I was one step ahead. This is what happens when you don't read the manual and you try to do it yourself. So largest cities, this will be your output table. You want your field to be country or, and you want your statistic to be count. And click OK. Again, it's going to create a new table for you. So you can go down to the bottom of your contents pane, right click and open. And now it shows you all kinds of stuff in here. So, here's the county, or excuse me, here's the countries that have the largest cities, and how many they do have each. Okay. You can see, so then in question 2, it's asking you how many cities in the United States are in the list of the top 30 largest cities, and then which country had 3 cities in each of the top. Okay, so in the United States, how many cities, and then which countries had 3? Okay, there's 3 of them. So this is where you get your answer for those 2 questions. Now you're going to do this for a different layer, which is the largest cities in 2035. Okay, so we're going to go back to 2035 up here. I'm going to right click and open up the attribute table. So make sure you keep an eye on which one you're working on. All right, and we want to repeat the step to create a summary for the largest cities feature class. So how did I do that again? I went up here, I did summary statistics on the country, and I did country count. Okay, so right click, summarize, country or statistic type is count. Okay, this is 2035. All right, okay. It creates a table over here in my content pane. Make sure I grab the right one. Nope, stop that. open up the table, and here are the answers to that question. All right. So that's for 2035. So how many more cities in India will be added to the world's top 30 largest cities by 2035 than were on the list in 1950? So you compare the largest cities statistics for this one to this one. Okay, and you look at India and see the difference. Right, you should be able to see that. All right, so now we're going to adjust the symbology for the cities in 2035. We want it to match the symbology from above. Okay, so I'm going to close these tables so that I can see my screen a little better. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to turn on my largest cities. I'm going to right click, do symbology, graduated symbols. I'm going to change this to population. We want 7 breaks, natural breaks. Okay, cool. I'm going to change this color just so that it looks different, right? And I'm going to click apply. So now I have 2 different colors. I think it also said just the drawing order. So 1950s is first. So what that means is you select 1950s and you drag it up like that. Let's see, so now it's on top. Okay, so you can see now which countries have grown from 1950 to 2035 because there's a bigger bubble of a different color behind them. Does that kind of make sense? All right, so now we're going to use the snip tool to take a screenshot so that you can turn this in for question 5. I'm not going to show you how to do that. Oh, I guess I could. Okay, so I find the snip tool. I need to close this. You go to new, you take a screenshot of your whole screen, make sure your name shows up, then you go get it out of your screenshots, or actually I think you have to save it. I don't know what that looks like. Where is it up here? Save as. Mine's probably a little different than yours. Sorry. I think. Oh, there we go. Save. And then you save it into the file, into your screenshot file. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I don't need this. I'm not taking the quiz. Okay. What do you see at a glance that you couldn't see just looking at the attribute table? And I think that's kind of what I just talked about, is that these purple ones were 1950 and the lighter turquoise ones are 2035. So you can see which ones have grown a bit and which areas have grown quite a bit. So in a sentence or two, go ahead and answer the questions. Now let's use the select by attribute table to help us find the total population projected to live in the largest city in 2035. So we're going to click on the map menu item and select by attributes. Okay, so we want to basically select this tool, this select by attributes tool. Okay, so the map menu means up here, this is the map ribbon. Okay, and there is a select by attributes tool up here, right here in the middle. Once that field opens, you can look at the manual. You can do largest cities, new selection, and country is equal to India. So largest cities, 1950, new selection, country, or do not type in here. Always use the drop down, okay? Always, always, always use the drop down. Country is equal to India. I'm going to double check and make sure I'm doing that correctly. Now I'm going to apply and click OK. And now it looks like one of my colors changed. So I think that means, yep, that means that they are highlighted. All right. So if your color is the same color as the highlight, like I did, that's going to be a little trickier. But if you had red and yellow, like shown here in the screenshot, you can also right click and open up your attribute table. And you will see that some of these are selected because that's what India, we wanted it to select India. Okay. So in the largest city table, let's right click on the population and choose visualize statistics this time. So right click and visualize. You should have a chart that pops up like this. All right. Mean, median, standard deviation. So it has the whole data set, and this is just the selection. So this is just India. I believe you have to answer some questions too. Let's see. So the steps. So yeah, what was the total population of the Indian cities that appear in the 2035 largest cities list. Oops, is that where we're supposed to be working? Oh, it was 1950. Oops, my bad. Great. Okay, well now you know how to do it for 1950. All right, so right click, open up the attribute table for 2035, select by attributes. It's 2035, new selection, country or is equal to India. Apply. Okay. Now population, visualize, see, clicky. Okay, so here's your answers for that one. So now a pop-up, yep, we see the pop-up. Cool, these are the steps. So now what's the total population of the Indian cities that appear in this list? So look, this is for the data set in this column. This is for the selections. This is the Indian cities. So these are all in with points, but these are really in millions. Okay, so that's how you're going to answer your question. One of the data sets you downloaded is a table. It contains lat and long. We're going to use what's called an XY table to point options. This is a tool that you can use. So let's find the Excel sheet called WPUP 2018. Okay, so that's going to be, I'm going to close this chart. I'm going to go back to my catalog. So is it here? No, it's probably in my folder down here. There it is right there. So I'm going to right click. Oh, see, it has a drop down. So I got to do the drop down. Give it a second to open. It's thinking. Still thinking. Okay, so there's a couple things in here. So let's see, which one do I want? You'll see that it has two worksheets. The first one has extra headers, and you won't, an ArcPro won't like it. So we're going to use data no header. Okay, so we're going to right click, add to current map. And all that does is, I'm going to close this. All it does is put it down here at the bottom. So I can right click on the table, the contents pane on the left, right click, and I want to create points from table, XY table to point. Okay, if you have longitude and latitude, it will automatically auto-populate here. So the only other thing I'm going to check is, let's see, we grabbed it from our folder, we did data no header. Okay, we're going to set the output feature class to be called cities greater than 300K, and you want to make sure the X is longitude and the Y is latitude. All right, so I'm gonna go up here, and so instead of it being called data no header, XY table to point, cities greater than cities greater than 300K. Notice how I put no spaces, all underscores. Okay, you don't have to do underscores, but definitely do not do spaces. It will screw up your stuff. What else do we have to do? I'm just double checking before I click go. Okay, now we're going to run it. Let's see, where's that button? Okay. Now what happens is it creates a new layer up here. So cities greater than 300K. I'm going to go ahead and save my work so that I don't lose it. All right. We're going to adjust the symbology to make it look like something like this. Okay, what do we want it to look like? Some sort of, we want the symbology to look like what? Field 2035 natural breaks. Okay, so right click, symbology, graduated symbols. We're going to do 2035. We have 3 classes instead of 5. And I don't know why mauve is my weird color. I'm just going to change it to red so it's easier to see for me. So now you can see that you have a bunch of red dots. There's a couple blue ones still. And what that means is that I still have things selected, which isn't great. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to click the clear button because you don't want to accidentally start doing more, using more tools and messing up your selections. Okay. All right, so I did that. Cool. I'm going to open up the largest cities in 2035, which is down here, attribute table. I'm going to go to population and sort ascending. Okay, to answer the next question. So population, sort ascending. So now the lowest one is right here. So now you need to know which one has the lowest. Go ahead and answer that for question 8. You can see the population has definitely changed over time. So if you open up the cities greater than 300K, you can see that the city you noted in question 8 will help you answer question 9. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So this is the lowest population. Now I go to this new layer. I open up the attribute table. I find that country. It's all in alphabetical order. Oh, a bunch of them. Oh, okay, so this is by urban agglomeration. That's the question. Let's see. It's this one, Indonesia and Jakarta. Okay, so I will highlight this just so that my brain can see it a little bit easier. What is it? Oh, I wonder if this got messed up because I had this cleared. So if you can't find Jakarta, move your layer, go back to data no headers, right click, XY table to point, X and Y, output, yes, okay. The reason I'm redoing it is because I think when I did the select by attributes, yeah, when I did select by attributes, and I did, what's it, country, I gotta go back and look, because I had stuff selected. Remember how I said when you have stuff selected, you mess it up? So, cities, okay, longitude, latitude, we'll change symbology. What else am I doing? Symbology. Yeah, let's sort that. Okay, so right click, symbology, graduated symbols, change this to 2035. I'm going to make it be 3 breaks. Change the color, something brighter that I can see. There we go. Now I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to open this up, attribute table. Okay. Now I want to do, oh no, I'm opening up cities 2035, right click, attribute table, population, sort, ascending. Okay, there's Indonesia and Jakarta. Cool. Is it in here? There we go. There it is. Okay, so it's because I had them selected, so it messed up my file. So note to self, don't do that. If you do and you can't find it, it means that you need to remake that. Okay. All right. So now I can get my answers for 8 and 9. Cool. You can look across here to find out the answer for 9. So certain places will see a decrease when others are already increasing. Think back to the graphics that we saw in lecture that indicated where the most seniors are versus children. Remember how we talked about that? Let's find out how many of these are located near coast and might be at risk of a storm surge or sea level rise. So to do this, we're going to highlight the cities greater than 300 layer. in the contents pane on the left of the screen, and then open the attribute table if you don't already have it open. We already have it open. Then at the top of your screen, we're going to do select by location, and we're going to do select by location for the map. All right, so now it's going to walk you through the steps. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to make sure everything is clear because I don't want anything to be cleared. Sorry, I have a cat in my face. Select by location. We're going to do cities greater than 300K. So up at the top, make sure it's 300K. We're going to do within a distance to world coastlines. We're going to make 1 kilometer. Okay. The relationship is called within a distance. The select feature is world coastlines because and then it's 1. You do the drop down here and you do kilometers. There's okay. It's a new selection. We're going to click apply and okay. And now what do we do, right? So we do that. Here's the steps. So how many cities fall within 1 kilometer of the coast? You go down here and there's 98 out of 1,860 selected. That's an answer. Now we need to clear our selection and we're going to change our distance to 150 meters. All right, so first to answer that question, then we clear, do select by location again. We do cities greater than 300K. Make sure it's within the distance. We're going to do coastlines again. And this time we're doing 150 meters. Okay, apply and okay. This is Alton. He's in my face all the time. Sorry. All right. So question 11, how many cities? Again, it's selected down here. You can see that. Okay. Question 12, of the cities that fall into the 150 meters, which one has the largest population in the year 2030? Okay. So in order to see which ones you've selected, see this little button on the bottom, you can do that. It shows you all the selected ones. Okay. Then we do, let's go to the right and which one has the largest one in 2030. I can right click and sort descending. And there you go. It gives you the answer right there. Okay. All right. Next steps, we want to clear our selection. Always clear your selection so it doesn't mess you up. Excuse me. Clear, cool. You could query the data sets if you want to find out how many cities over 300,000 were in Nigeria. Unfortunately, we only know what country to do and not what area, so we might not get all the cities. So instead, we're going to take a different data set, world countries, to select all of Nigeria, and then select the cities within the area. We're going to use a couple different tools, select by attributes, in the world countries feature class. And I'll show you where to open that. Okay. So first we're going to go to, I like to highlight what I'm working on over here. So world countries. Okay. I'm going to do select by attributes. Then it automatically populates, but you don't have to. All right. So world countries, new selection. We want country is equal to Nigeria. Country is equal to, use the drop down, and Nigeria. Okay, and click apply and okay. If you turn on this layer, then you'll see this selection right here. Okay. Once you've used the drop down, we click apply and okay. So now we can see we want to use the select by location tool. So now we're going to do something different. So select by location, and we want cities greater than 300,000. What else do we want here? We want completely within the world country using the selected records. So completely within, no, not contains, completely contains, there it is, completely within. We want the world countries layer because that's what we're using. See how it says selected for records? That's what we want, all right? And we don't have to worry about distance, and we click apply, and okay. So then, how many cities within a population greater than 300,000 occur within Nigeria. So you can close your table and zoom into Nigeria. So no, stop that. Stop it. Just zoom in like this using your mouse. Now, well, I don't know if I want to count all of that, right? So I can right click, open up world countries. You see there's let's see, there's 4 countries selected, or 4 sections of countries, so it's Nigeria. So we can wonder if cities greater than 300,000, will it have any selections in here? Oh, sure does. Look at that. So there's my answer right there at the bottom. Okay, go ahead and upload your screen capture. Make sure you zoom out a little bit to show all of Nigeria. So if you're like me and zoomed way in, I would just zoom out a bit to show so that it's, I've got that selected. And then you can show your cities greater than 300,000 table. Go ahead and save your work, grab your screenshot, and off you go. All right, let's see. So now we're going to do farmland conversion. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to stop sharing. Just a second. All right, now I'm back. Let's see. Share my screen again. All right, so I am going to go to farmland stuff. So probably going to close this city stuff, save my work. Let's look back at the manual. Okay, the AFT tracks farmland loss to development. It generates reports for different farmers. Farmers under threat in 2040. We're going to use this cool interactive app. You're going to go in here and you are going to do some cool scenarios with this. I am not going to walk you through this part because it's all online and it's pretty straightforward. You follow the steps, okay, and then you're all done for the day. So I did walk you through all of the GIS part, which to me I think is more tricky. You all are learning a lot of really cool tools. This farming website that you're going to use is going to help you with your project as well. All right. Thanks for listening. I hope this helped.